Welcome to the Dr. Leadership Show, where we take a look at how you approach your work and personal life and how we can make the most out of both of them. A weekly get-together where we get real about self-improvement and development as we all make this not-so-easy journey through life. Our discussions will cover ideas and concepts from how to grow your career to how to lead your family towards prosperity and happiness. We don't pretend to know it all, and the doctor is the first to be vulnerable, discussing his own weaknesses, both past and present. This is about growing together and having some fun while we discuss what is happening in the crazy world we live in and how to make the most of it. Let's strive for awesome together. Let's get after it. Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of the Dr. Leadership Podcast. Hope you're having an awesome day. Hey, first and foremost, feeling a little bit under the weather still. I hope nobody else is fighting this crud. It has been in my body for a couple weeks now, done some antibiotics. You're reading on the news, it's going around, just cold stuff. But if I sound a little deeper than normal or sputter a little bit, just bear with the captain here. Had to get some steroids, some antibiotics. Feeling much better, but still haven't kicked it. So I'm going to have to, I think, call the doctor back. Hope you had an awesome holiday. We're a couple weeks out of that now. Last week's episode, are you still thankful? I think it's very important to reflect on that, right? It seems that a lot of people get very, very focused on the important things in life for individual days throughout the year. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, 4th of July. Live that stuff every single day, right? Live it every single day. Hey, if you want to reach out and check us out, subscribe, get access to the Leadership Lounge, you can check us out at www.drleadershipresults.com. Click on subscribe. Check it out, $5 a month, very, very good content, lots of individual interviews with rock stars in the industry, all sorts of industries, from NFL Super Bowl winning coaches to fighter pilots to Navy SEALs to business owners, CEOs, the list goes on. Great feedback to hear about their journeys and how they found success, and I think everybody can get a little bit out of that. And then also, if you want to reach out and contact us via the email, we're at Gmail. That is at drleadershipresults@gmail.com. And that's where this episode's coming from. I actually had a recommendation or a request, I guess, not a recommendation, a request from Brant out in California to talk about mental toughness. And I think it's a very important topic. So he threw this at me this week, and I was actually ringing the bell for Salvation Army and trying to give back a little bit. Have a great time doing it. If you haven't done that, go out and volunteer somewhere in the next week. Man, does it just make your soul feel good. And also, you're helping people that are far less fortunate. It's cold out. It's coming to the season where a lot of people aren't going to have Christmas presents or aren't going to have Hanukkah gifts, aren't going to have Ramadan things impact them positively, like all of us kind of sometimes take for granted. So go out, give yourself to others. Remember the 3 T's of philanthropy: time, talent, and or treasure. So you don't have to give money, give your time. If you don't have as much time, give some talent. Take your expertise and help people with things that would benefit them in the long run. But this was a recommendation or a referral or a request, I guess, all the R words here. Request is the word I'm looking for on mental toughness. And he actually referred to the book by Christopher Doris. Chris goes by Christopher, actually. The book of Mental Toughness Mantras. And great book. I've read excerpts from it. I have not read the whole book, but I think you kind of get the gist of it. And one of the best attributes I actually take out of it is Christopher talks about Vibe Up. Got some great shirts out there for sale too that say Vibe Up. And basically what Vibe Up is bring and maintain your own energy. Folks, the world is a very hard place. The world right now is full of a lot of sissies. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be direct on this stuff. The lack of mental toughness by Americans these days and by people in general, younger generations, is just disgusting to me. Everything is offensive and everything is woe is me and everything is victim, not victor. And I think you figured me out after the last 14, 15 months. I just don't play that way. I'm not the best at everything in the world, but I'm going to give it my best shot. And a lot of people in this world have zero, Z-E-R-O, mental toughness. So let's step back for a second. Let's talk about what is mental toughness. So the definition that I kind of pull together in my mind when I think about this is I see it as the ability or the willingness to use your own mind in ways that serve you in your growth toward attainments and success. You got to be really strong in the 6 inches between your ears in life. You're going to miss more shots than you make. You're going to have setbacks in life that could really cause a lot of people to go, I'm not going to try anymore. And the difference between those that are successful and those that aren't successful are successful people do what unsuccessful people don't like to do. And that's keep going. That's keep attacking it and keep going. You look at every great athlete. Brant from California actually brought up, he sees it in a lot of his competitive tennis people that he competes with. They have mental toughness. They don't look at that ace that just went by him or that 6-0 that they just got beat in that game and think the match is over. They tighten their shoelaces and they get after it. That's mental toughness. The last thing that happened doesn't define your life. That's history. Breathe in the future, right? Lean into what are the possibilities. So it's the ability to really kind of control the mind yourself that gets handling tough times. I mean, it's just, life is tough. It ain't for sissies, as my 94-year-old mom says. Let's face it. Heartaches, headaches, setbacks, hurdles, barriers, headwinds, list goes on and on. Without mental toughness, success is going to be few and far between for you. If you look around and everything is against you in your mind and everything is a lost cause in your mind, you're going to struggle in life. You're going to be the hourly wager that just doesn't ever get past getting past their own mind. Millionaires are not made by birthright. Millionaires are made by working harder than everybody else. Millionaires are made by doing the consistent, dedicated, and being very determined about attaining their goals. That's the difference between success and not success. So what we have to do as individuals is look in that proverbial mirror. Are you doing what it takes to be successful? The difference to attainment of goals and success and not is literally mental toughness. Just being able to handle hard. Handle hard better. We've talked about that in the past. You have to self-diagnose here a little bit, folks. Just take a break and think, how mentally tough am I? Do I got what it takes? I know that in this department, I have no give up in my mind. I'm not saying I got everything figured out and that I'm perfect. Do not misinterpret my words here. This isn't braggadocious. This is just stating a fact that when I go after something, I go after it. If I'm not going to be number one, why try? So if I'm trying something, I'm going to be number one. Everybody says it's not how you play it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game. No, I'm sorry, man. Life's about wins and losses. Now, you want to be a good competitor. You want to be a good team player. You want to be fair. You want to have integrity. You want all those types of things. But let me tell you, life is a lot better being a winner than being a loser. Now, it takes losses to get to the highest of the mountaintops and to be a winner. So you learn from them. You don't become dejected from them. But man, life is a lot better on top of the medal stand there than not on the medal stand. You got to be tough, folks. Let me ask you a question. We're talking about self-diagnosis. Are you a chronic complainer? This is a big one. This is when you can tell if you're mentally tough or not. We all know these folks. Life sucks. Their mental toughness quotient is not very high. A complaint, by definition, is a low-grade interpretation of reality. In other words, it's a downer look at things. When you have low-grade interpretations of reality, it will lead to failure of intelligence. What I mean by that is you can't get your own mind wrapped around it right because you're complaining all the time. You can't have the right mindset if you complain all the time. You got to stop complaining and you got to start looking at it as an opportunity for growth, an opportunity for improvement instead of a woe is me. We have a cultural problem in the country. We have a cultural problem in the world. It's the oppression Olympics. Everyone's looking for someone else to blame for why they are less than or not as good as somebody else. And the problem is that the world doesn't even understand who the oppressors are, who the bad guys are. Look at what's going on in the Middle East right now. There are tens of thousands of people on the streets that have no idea how friggin' stupid they are. They have no idea the reality of one is a terrorist organization, very, very bad people, and the other people are being killed simply because of their religious beliefs. But they have been convinced in their mind through this oppressive Olympics that somehow the terrorists are the oppressed ones because it's a woe is me. Because the other group has been successful at raising and developing a culture that has been somewhat successful. A way to check yourself around toughness here is to review how you respond to adversities. There's lots of adversity in life. You're going to face illnesses. You're going to face financial setbacks. You're going to face failures at work. You're going to face relationship issues. These things are going to come. It's not an if, it's a when. How are you going to handle it? Woe is me. I'm a victim. Life is hard. Boo-hoo-hoo. You got to remember, 18-year-olds 70 years ago, 80 years ago, lied about their age so they could go fight in islands that we didn't know the names of to save the world from tyranny. 17 and 18-year-olds today can't handle if their TikTok internet access isn't working and can't decide what the hell they are. They're worried about pronouns and worried about, you're mean? Oh my goodness, mean texts? Life's really hard, folks. You better buckle up, man. Life is going to run these people over. Our society is in a death spiral because we have allowed the weak to be the leading and defining direction of this country. We need strength. We need powerful people in leadership. We don't need meek. It's all about mental toughness. I'm sorry, man. The world is going to be a tough place if you can't handle the little things in life. Let me ask another question. What's your reaction when you don't get what you want? Are you a sulker? The word sulker. There are a lot of sulkers in this world. I hate them. Wah, wah, wah. Someone else's fault. Woe is me. Poor me. Or something goes bad and they can't shake it. They're just down in the dumps for weeks, months. Well, if I would have started on the basketball team in high school, I'd be in a better spot today. Literally 20 years later. They're replaying the game where they didn't get the final out, sulking about things. Lots of this in today's society, man. We have spoiled, emotionally weak, neutered losers. Sorry, man. I'm just in the mood to be really direct today. This mental toughness thing really got me going. Brant, thanks for hollering this thing out. You watch the news and you look at what is coming of our country, what is becoming of our country, and it is just disgusting to me. We've talked about emotional coefficient, EQ and IQ. There are people that cannot emotionally handle themselves. Little things set them off, and they get so wrapped up around stupid things, and politically it's just a joke right now, that they aren't paying attention that the world is we're in 2 world wars right now, man. Can't have 2 world wars, I suppose, because there's only one world, but 2 war fronts. Tens of thousands have died. We've got drug addicts just tweaking out on the streets. We've got fecal matter all over the cities. We got murder rates of young people of color happening at rates that have never happened before. We've got drugs pouring over the border. We've got our agencies, federal government agencies, picking on people based on what they think politically. We've got people just flat lying to the American public, and we're worried about the wrong stuff. You aren't going to save the world by turning off gas stoves. It's a sad, sad point right now, man. We have really emotionally weak people. We have emotionally weak and intellectually neutered people out there. Dig yourself out of this, man. Be mentally tough. Don't look at things as problems in life, but find the opportunity there. If something doesn't go right, you have just learned a lesson that is valuable. How not to do something. That is learning as well. Fail forward. I've said that before. Lean into mistakes. How you don't make mistakes is through lots of experience. How you gain experience is through lots of mistakes. This all ties together. This isn't about being born with gifts that allow you to be triumphant in life. This is about developing gifts through mental toughness, the willingness to learn, the willingness to change, the willingness to embrace things you don't like, embrace what you hate. That's how you grow. The reason there's a top 1% in earnings or in happiness or in whatever you want to measure is because those people choose to do what puts them in the 1%. There are those that are trust fund babies. There are those that have the fortunate ability to be born into the right family. That is measured in a few thousand people in this world of 8 billion. There are tens of thousands of millionaires in this country. Many of them started at a minimum wage job and created their own destiny, fought through, outperformed, outpracticed, outdedicated versus the others. We all know the others. So when you look in the mirror every morning, and I have hard days too, but this is a daily endeavor. Mental toughness isn't something you achieve and then it's forever there. It is something you have to practice and practice and practice and practice. I'm working on business planning for next year. I'm going to hand out bigger quotas again next year. Half the reps are going to, and management team are going to woe is me, and I can't believe they're doing this to us, and the comp plan's not good enough, and wah. And then there's the half that are going to be overplanning and overachievement and make their $500,000 this year. Yeah, $500,000. Lots of them. Lots of 350s, 400s. Because they're dedicated. Because they have the mental toughness to go, hey, this is the new year. Let's go get it this year. Got to dig yourself out of these low spots, man. There's opportunities, not problems. Another question. Do you take accountability of your entire life or just the good parts? I know these people too. Are all your problems someone else's fault? Well, I'm really good because, I go to church, so that makes me a good Christian, as an example. Well, no, you're acting like shit to people when it's not Wednesday night service or Sunday service. You aren't practicing what they preach. You aren't doing it at all times when people aren't looking. Remember, integrity is doing the right thing when people aren't looking. Do you have integrity toward mental toughness? Are you accountable? Remember, accountability, I said this is like the second episode the show ever did, was on accountability. And accountability is raising your hand for good or bad results if you're responsible. Some people don't like taking responsibility. Some people don't like the mirror, man. Those people are very, very mentally weak because it's an insecurity point. They don't feel that they can show weakness because they have to lie to keep the facade going that they got their proverbial shit together. Don't let that be that. Don't let that be you. Take accountability for all things, good or bad. Promise you, more good will happen. Because what you'll do is you'll be dedicated to avoiding the things that cause the bad to happen. You learned a lesson. You took the opportunity out of it. Developing mental toughness, it's like it's no different. The approach to mental toughness, I said it's a forever game, right? It's no different than physical fitness. If you want to be shredded or you want to be able to run marathons or you want to be able to lift certain weights, you have to continuously work on your physical fitness, that physical shape you're in. Developing mental toughness is exactly the same. Practice, practice, practice. It takes dedication, it takes energy, it takes effort, and continuous action. Let me repeat those. It takes dedication, takes energy, takes effort, takes action. Continuously. Let's say you were a great baseball player in high school. I'm going to be 56 years old next month. I was a really good baseball player when I was 15 years old. Really good baseball player. If I stepped out today after not practicing baseball, even playing church league softball or city league softball for 20 years, I'm not going to step up there and rip a liner into the opening between left and center. It's not going to happen. Although I was very talented at 15, 16 years old, hit well into the 500s, yes, truly, didn't hit any home runs, lots of singles, lots of doubles. You could not get the ball past me 3 strikes in a row when I was that age. Not braggadocious, just I was a really good hitter. Could put the bat on the ball, get it in play. On-base percentage was off the charts. But I would not even hit the ball. Today, stepping up there, even against a 12-year-old throwing the damn thing, 15-year-old throwing the damn thing. So no difference on mental toughness. It is a dedication of continuous improvement and continuous focus, continuous effort, and continuous action. You got to burn your energy calories on concentrating on it. It's no different than anything else. If you want a good marriage, you got to concentrate on it. If you want a good relationship with your family, you got to concentrate on it. If you want good physical health, you got to concentrate on it. If you want good mental toughness, you got to concentrate on it. There is no hall pass to mental toughness. People struggle with this. Since it's never been a part of any formal education, right? And what I mean by that, if you don't have strong role models that taught mental toughness when you were young, say my parents were very good on mental toughness. World War II parents, Depression parents. I mean, no wah-wah in my family. Maybe it was your parents. Maybe you had mentors that exposed you to the need to be tough. Maybe it was a great coach, teachers, friends. But what I mean by this is there's no formal education on how to be mentally tough. You really had to have a good draw of those people that were around you, get a little lucky to learn it. So now what you do is you're finding self-help things like Dr. Leadership Podcast to say, how do I start to learn these attributes? How do I start to acquire these skills? Starts today with a personal choice. Are you going to be dedicated? Are you going to give it the energy? Are you going to give it the effort? Are you going to take action? Or are you going to play woe is me again tomorrow? Are you going to procrastinate? We've talked about goal setting. You don't set a time to start something. You set a time to finish something. Say, I'm going to read that book on mental toughness by the end of December. No ifs, ands, or buts. We're coming up to the annual renewal of the New Year's resolutions that 98.7% won't keep. And remember, 87% of all statistics are made up, including that one I just gave you. The point is this. You got to determine in your own mind that you want to develop mental toughness. You got to have a little bit of mental toughness out of the starting gate to develop mental toughness. And I want to tell you something right now. You aren't going to be successful right away. You will fall into old habits far easier than leaning on new ones at first. You got to keep your head down, your chin up. Now, sounds like it's completely opposite. But what I mean by that is you got to stay focused. You got to be head down. You got to really go at it. And then when something negative happens, you keep that chin up and you say, it's okay. I learned from it. So head down, chin up. Sounds like an oxymoron, like jumbo shrimp. I'm glad I like my own jokes. You got to have strong role models. Surround yourself with people that make you better. That'll help you on the journey too. Today's society is just extremely mentally weak. I mean, oh my goodness gracious. Men in power want it that way. Our governments, our leaders want us mentally weak. It's all part of the plan. It's why the news that they distribute create conflict amongst each other. If we are not together as a society and a community, if we aren't mentally tough to understand hard things need to be done, and we're going to have to make decisions that aren't popular, but are right for our long-term longevity as a society and as a culture, if they keep us on our toes and don't allow us to build that type of resilience, the powerful will keep on doing it to us. The powerful want everyone to be dependent. They want to tell us how to be parents. And they want to tell us that life should all be hugs and kisses. And they've positioned our culture this way, and it's just wrong. You got to get up and you got to get after it. We are the weakest in American history. Our leadership right now is the weakest leadership that there's ever been in American history, bar none. Doesn't matter what team you cheer for. It's ridiculous. So quit counting on the government for delivering the goods for you. Deliver your own goods. We are the weakest in American history. We are weak, fragile babies on our way to our own demise. So take control of your own life. Put some toughness between the two ears. Callous your brain up. Be mentally tough, emotionally strong, and intellectually focused. Think. That's what we need to do. Remember the basics from Darwin. The strong survive. Or does that science not make any sense any longer too? That's just old thinking. Those were bad people days. I'm sure they've got something they don't like about Darwin. Today, many of our leaders try to put you into some category of the oppressed. That's a bunch of BS. Let's judge on character, not on color. Let's judge on actions, not on talk tracks, not on what they say. Words mean nothing. People project onto others what they themselves are doing. Pay attention. Watch. Don't take what the news says. Dig a little deeper. Because the news is all part of this stuff. They want us weak. The stronger your mind is, the easier it is to be happy and successful. It's that simple. Because then you don't wallow in it. Then you don't sulk. Then you don't allow it to keep you down. Then you don't allow it to win. You got to just stay head down and chin up. Mental toughness is the key attribute to success. It's all the focus. It's the energy. It's the dedication. Mental toughness is developed by always being in training. Always being in training to handle the reality as it comes at you. Suck it up, Buttercup. Man, I hope you understand that this isn't trying to be a downer to you. This is just the fact. I'm slapping you across the face. Listen to me, Jimmy. Listen to me, Susie. This is what it takes. So you talk a great game. Do you want to be successful? Then act successful. Mental toughness, intellectual prowess. Dig deeper. I'll share a few. I wrote down kind of top 10, and not necessarily top 10, not in any order, but some mantras. We started talking about the book, Mental Toughness Mantras, and I wrote a few down myself. If you can put your mind right around these little things, I think it'll go well for you. The first one I wrote down is, I have what I need to get through this. I've got the education. I've got the loving family. I've got a roof over my head. I've got time. I've got the heart to do it. I've got the focus to do it. You've got the tools to do these things if you choose to pull those tools out of your own personal toolbox. Second one I put, you win some, you lose some. Now, winning's a lot more fun. But to become a consistent winner, you got to take some knocks to the noggin. You got to take a few on the chin. Because that's how you learn. That's how you develop the experience. It's how you develop mental toughness. And winners are the strongest of mental toughness. You look at any of the top athletes, man. Struck out the last time, home run the next time. They didn't sulk. They didn't think, I can't hit this guy or I can't hit this gal. They stood in the box and said, I'm going to rip this one 410 to the left. It's the difference between doers and not doers, man. I love this one. Be a warrior, not a worrier. Be a victor, not a victim, right? I've said that before. But a warrior, not a worrier. The next one, never give up. Churchill said, we will never give up during World War II. If you don't know who Winston Churchill is or what that speech was about, look it up. It's an important one. Next one I wrote down is, find a way or make one. There's always a different way to skin the cat. There's always a different way to become successful. There's always a way in which to overcome the barriers that are in front of you. If you can't find the way, create a new one. Be a thinker, problem solver. I like this one too. It's okay to feel the fear. Just do it anyway. It's natural to be uncomfortable. I always say to my salespeople when they say, I don't know what question to ask the customer, The one you're most uncomfortable asking is probably the right question, because human nature wants to hold you back from engaging in something uncomfortable. But that uncomfortable is going to move the ball to a yes or no. So feel that fear, but then do it anyway. Here's one for all the people that are under the age of 40 out there. You ready? Feelings are not facts. I don't care about your feelings. Well, I feel that I don't. Wrong answer. Hold your feelings internally. Use your feelings as a driver. But feelings don't matter, man. Results matter. Outcomes matter. Positive mind equals a positive life. I truly believe in this, like every single day. Look at the sunshine somewhere in the sky. Don't bring clouds to your own day. Deliver sunshine to yourself. When it rains, look for rainbows, and when there's darkness, look for stars. I didn't come up with that one, but I stole it. Again, all my good stuff's stolen, man. But again, it's just about mental attitude, right? And then this last one. Being successful does not mean you become braggadocious. Remain humble. Work hard and be kind. Embrace those that are less fortunate. Give back. Help others. Be a good neighbor. Be a good spouse. Be a good father. Be a good sibling. Be a good child. Most importantly, be awesome, and then keep that shit up. Talk next week. See ya.